So this is a fun one. This is a fun one because this is one of those students of mine that I have a chance to really make some serious headway with, because Brandon spends a minimum of a couple hours a week with me when I am in town. And we have a great relationship to the point to where we go to dinners with the family. We do escape rooms together, but he's been a project that I take a lot of pride in because of the time we do spend together. You guys are gonna love this golf swing. It's a phenomenal swing. I'm really proud of it. And this guy is now a freshman in high school at La Jolla Country Day, but I've been very proud of him this last year. Lots of rounds in the 60s, has really identified himself as one of our top junior golfers, especially for his age here in the county. So high hopes for this guy, you know, get him into those top D1 schools, get those offers and see where he ends up, but it's exciting. Hey bud, tell me, because it's been a week, I was on the road out in South Carolina at the Key Island clinics. What have you worked on this week? Hit me with it.
Just keeping my lower body not moving.
Stable?
Takeaway, yeah.
Stable.
Yeah.
Were you doing a little bit of this? Were you getting like the early? Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when this happens to him, you know, he and this is for a lot of people, by the way, so this is not just for you, but that when that snaps back early, a couple things. I always like to check first and foremost, is the player flexing their knees enough? Because if you're already starting too straight, well, you turn it all and guess what happens? It straightens out. But the big tip for you is keeping that right knee flexed. Always a big tip for Brandon too is when we create this brace right here, keeping that right knee on the inside of the right foot, that prevents that lead knee from snapping in like this. This is what happens to you, right? So we're trying to get rid of that feel. Yeah. The nice thing about Brandon is the consistency at which we work. It really does prevent bad habits from creeping in. I do believe, I actually called him from South Carolina. Remember the call I gave you? I called him, well, we talked about fishing a little bit also, but it was mainly I called him to talk to him about, you know, the weeks away from me are just as valuable, and if not more, than the weeks with me. You know, obviously I'm here, and I don't mean to be a crutch by any means, but I am something he can lean on to make sure that he's not going to get into bad habits. And what's nice is he's at a point now, after we've been at this now for about a little over a year, what happens when we're seeing each other consistently is even if there is something to work on, it's not that extreme. It's just little things like, oh, the club got a little bit under today. Let's make sure it stays in front of us. The right knee straightening out a little. Let's keep that a little more flexed, or some setup thought or something, which is nice. So we've really minimized it. Where we, you know, today our lesson plan is we have an hour here on the range. You guys are going to see a little bit of this. We actually have a tee time here in about 50 minutes that we're going to go to the golf course. Every Friday. We go 3 hours, this guy and I. And we go to the golf course for 2 of those hours. And what a great regiment that is. You know, mom and dad are committed. They put him in with me. We get out there and we work on playing golf, not golf swing. And this guy's really working hard in his golf IQ, which he has a very high one for his age. You know, picking the right shots, knowing when to hit certain shots, knowing where to tee up on the tee box to open up the hole. What I'm looking for with a player who's competitive like this, who really wants to get the most out of their game, there has to be a plan of attack every day when you come out here. And maybe like 20 minutes of that is working on your swing. But if you're here for 2 hours after school like he is, it can't be 2 hours of working on your golf swing. It needs to be a good hour and a half of that or more. It needs to be, you know, hey, let's get this feeling to feel as similar as it does to the golf course. So when you play your tournament, which he's going to play a tournament the next 2 days, you know, so that time spent on the driving range needs to feel as much like that round of golf as possible. So nice, dude. So, here, let me see that club real quick, bud. I want to have Brandon show his rendition of this shot. He does these beautifully, and one thing that's helped you a lot, you know, the three-quarter knockdown. You know, the three-quarter knockdown takes the extra arm swing out of it, keeps us connected. The knockdown feeling keeps us engaged through impact. It's a mindset, not just a technique, of really compressing the golf ball. The next part of that is club face control. The ability to have that Fleetwood-esque finish. Being able to hold your finish and being right here says a lot about your swing. It's like that finish, is, as Todd Sones would say, is like a report card to everything that happened prior to that. And the ability to stay connected and not see that face roll over is really important. So here's something that I work on with Brandon. I'm going to have him give his best rendition of this. Here's that three-quarter knockdown. Shoulder to shoulder, Look at that finish. Ooh. Ooh. All right, bro, give me your best version of that right there. You got those big shoes to fill, bro. Let's see it. Come on, show me something good though, okay?
My assumption is you would rather see that than the spinny right one. Yes. Any day. That was a good strike. That one there, foul
Oh,
ball, speed of the day.
dude.
A little low launch.
How good was that?
240.
Dang. Well, it was almost as good right there, maybe better. X out. Okay. Let's talk about why that 3/4 knockdown is so good for Brandon. Money right there. That's good, but that club sometimes gets underneath his forearm right there and gets a little rolly and open. This is good, but here's the thing. That is him 3/4. So you can imagine look how good that is. That club's so in front of him. Look how stable the face is, guys. See how that face is still matching his spine angle there? Look at it's pointed up like that, not rolled over. I love that. So watch us in full motion here. I didn't do it justice, too. Let me do it justice here. Ooh. So here's the big thing. Hopefully, and I think every player should do this. Take a 3/4 swing. What's funny about that? What you think is a 3/4 swing. And what do you still see there? If anything, your arms are high. That lead arm is a little bit higher than your shoulder plane, which means that your arms have still drifted a little bit beyond your turn. Now you brought it back down perfectly and controlled it perfectly and had the face perfect, but that would tell me right away for the rest of this week and for tomorrow's tournament, feeling a 3/4 feeling at the top of your swing would be all day. Even when you're taking a full swing through the golf ball, 3/4 feeling. Now, anybody who's watched Porzak golf videos knows this. We talk about the knockdown mentality. Whether it's myself, whether it's Cameron Siss, whether it's Mason Anderson, whether it's you know, you're gonna work on this 3/4 knockdown. And when you hit the full shot just means maybe you're swinging through it a little bit more. You still have that intent to knock that ball down into the turf in front of you, okay? So let's, yes, listen, your lower body's working great. Your knee is a lot more flexed than it was when I left you. You're not straightening out like you were. So we can drop those thoughts and those feelings that you worked hard to make sure that no longer do you have to think about them during the tournament. Let's go simple for tomorrow. Let's get back to your 3/4 knockdown mentality. Pick your 3/4 knockdown shots if it gets windy out there, or if you're a little bit in between clubs and need to knock 5-6 yards off your shots, is what it typically does. But when he's into the wind, he's also educated enough to know that ball will actually go further than his full swing. So let's take the full swing now. 3/4 still at the top of your swing. See what I like about this guy is, like, I used to have to really harp on him to, like, stop everything under here and just be more, just work on that feeling of connection. Because in order to do that, it takes some core strength too that you used to not have. But Cody's been helping this guy. Cody's been making this guy a beast. So he's starting to get a little tougher here. See, there's the full swing all the way through. Now what you'll see, which we can't see right here, but we can see, that ball flew about 5 yards farther than his 3/4 knockdown. Had it been into the wind, though, the other one would have actually probably gone 5 to 6 yards farther than that. So just knowing that, why would you not have the 3/4 knockdown every time? Well, ball flight comes out a little flatter with that, and sometimes you have front pins and things like that you want to carry it to and have it stop a little bit quicker. But see, I like that for him. See how he compresses the heck out of it? Ball flight just gets a little higher, swinging all the way through it. Just carries a little more.
I was gonna say it, but yeah. What I like about that, flip that.
When I give him that 3/4 knockdown shot, it's a great way for him because we've talked a lot about how to hit it. Yeah, I mean, these are unbelievable, guys. These are all just on a string. So here's the thing. If he starts swinging, a lot of young players do this, and not just young players, players in general do this. You get a little bit loose back here. What do you have to do on the way through? We all know you got to make it up somehow, right? That making it up tosses the club through. We lose the club face. It turns over violently through impact, and it's gone. So this is a nice way of controlling the hands and the arms with the core, feeling connection. The lack of extra here gives him more control here. He does like 5 of those. His swing gets better for the whole day. You're actually giving everybody a really nice lesson today. Connection equals club face control. disconnection leads to the reason why we have to toss that face and catch up. So what I want you guys to pay attention to about this young man's swing, watch his constant rotation. Old little three letters we say all the time, ABR, always be rotating. When you have connection, you have the ability to constantly and purely rotate without any speed bumps along the way. When players stall, stand up, back up, they have to allow their hands to catch up and flip the club. That's all disconnection. So what's nice is when you see this constant rotation that Brandon has, that's because of the connection, because of the club being on plane. And yeah, like I said, I'm proud of it. It's a golf swing that's going to win a lot. Here we go. Watch how there's no stalling out. Just keep moving through. Nice and connected.
I don't know if I love
Nice, buddy. Nice. So for our viewer, a lot of this is going to be, you're trying to not swing your arms much relative to your body. And you know, it's funny because I've actually been hitting it really, really nicely lately. Oh, dude, you should see me in South Carolina, was striping out there. And you want to think about how short can my arm swing possibly be relative to my body's turn. So watch this guy give his rendition of this, and I'll pull up a video of me feeling that in South Carolina so the viewer can see of like what I'm working on. Oh. Hopefully you're getting some sound effects on that, Kev. All right, here, so check us out, guys. Me feeling super short arm swing. Ready?
I won't be too sad about that.
And then here we go. Watch how connected it is coming down. Boom. And then here's that little bit of control through impact. So you'll see. And when you look at that, when you watch it, you're like, you know what? It still looks like a normal length swing. It's just maybe a frame short on each side here. You know, it's not a little extra longer and then whipping around my back like that. I just keep it controlled. But it's funny, I'm working on exactly what you're working on. I had a lot of 3/4 knockdowns. Compression was better, efficiency was better. I looked at my club face through impact, much more like this as opposed to any saving. Way better. Yeah, striping, dude. All right, buddy, give me the longer club. I'm gonna talk about, like, here's what I want from my players. Like, when you look at this, like, here's the lead arm. Watch the lead arm here. Couple things. There's that lead arm matching the shoulder plane. There's that right knee very flexed. So when I have that, you know, my hand path's gonna be really good coming down. Puts the club right on plane. And look at that club go. You can see that face is still real stable there. That's what I've been working on. But the one thing I never, ever want, I never want a 3/4 swing to be a 3/4 turn and then the arm stop. You still want to make that full swing, make that full turn. And then the arms just don't swing extra relative to that. That's big key. Ooh, dude. Money. Money, money. Yeah, I just, you know, Kev, you made a comment earlier too when you were watching this guy hit the ball. The minute he started hitting that 3/4 knockdown, did you see how much more like he sticks the finish? Back to what Anthony Kim, we were on the top of this range with Anthony Kim, Kevin. Remember what he said? Simple as this, right? Left shoulder behind ball, where does the right shoulder go? Right to the target, stick the finish, you know? That's sticking the finish, it's just everything arriving together, boom, right? And that's what he does real well. Man, how well did that video age, huh? If you guys haven't seen it yet, you guys got to, you know, I think, what do we have, Kev? Did we put 3 of them out?
Put 3 of them out.
Nice. So if you haven't seen that video, a lot of you have, and it's important to watch that, you know, watch how he simplifies things. Now, you know, it's, you know, here's the thing. I do have to make a comment about that, though. A lot of comments about, yeah, you know, it's so refreshing to see how simple you keep it, right? Well, what people don't know about that is, but prior to ever keeping it that simple, you know, Anthony and I both worked with a coach who worked very hard for years on getting us in the right positions to where we're in the realm of decency, to where we could get to a point to where you think about left shoulder back, right shoulder through, you know, and that's where, you know, when you look at Anthony's thoughts there, not a lot of viewers have the luxury to do that, you know, and that's where I encourage you to watch the rest of our videos talking about the backswing. Now here's a great one right here. Just talking about connection and keeping the hands and body together. Before I ever worked on putting the club in specific spots, man, I would go right through a setup video. I would go right to a set position video. And then I would just work on theme, as my dad always had me work on, of my body and hands going in the same direction at all times. Nice, bud. Let's get some drives out, huh?
I'll do a couple more.
Knockdown is not just for great technique. It's a go-to shot. It's a go-to shot. Everybody needs a go-to shot. You know, a go-to shot for him is three-quarter knockdown. Now, it happens to be that three-quarter knockdown does everything his golf swing needs. Shortens the length of his arm swing relative to the turn, keeps him connected, stabilizes the club face, gets him sticking that finish. Yeah, give me some feels at the top. Go to the top, hold it up there. Look at this. Look who's surprising us, gracing us with his presence today. Zoom in on that. Whoa. The one and only Mike Pitt. How about that?
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, we love this guy. This is like Mike's family also right here. What do you have to say about this kid?
Man, you guys are showing the channel what Brandon's song is all about today.
Yeah.
Huh? Yes, dude.
The Tong, Mr. Tong.
Let's do it. Yeah, that's like a scary shot.
This guy is, you guys, I will say, this guy is a killer. The chips are down and this guy gets better. It's hard to find players like that. But man, towards the end of the round when things are tight, I love being in this guy's shoes. He keeps good rhythm.
Yeah.
And we got no problems.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
He's a really good player. Some people look at on a range and doesn't translate, but this guy does both. As Mike said, better when he's actually out there playing. You know what's funny about this guy? He's pounding these guys. What's funny about this guy? I'll tell you something about Brandon Tong. It's funny, if he's actually having a range session that's not great, you know what I do? I just go right to the course. And 100% of the time it gets better right away. Because you know what he does? He just focuses more. It's hard. He's in the classroom grinding away all day, and then you got to come out here and turn on the switch, and sometimes you just want to, but out there, he's got that winning mentality.
I haven't seen many bad range sessions from this guy, though.
No, there's not too many. I hang out with him. One thing I am seeing with the driver, though, he does get a little armsy to the top. So feeling that left shoulder, buddy. Get that left shoulder over that right foot. This guy needs to play with that thought that Mason Anderson's currently playing with in the Korn Ferry Tour events and had a couple top 10s with this thought. And has a good chance to win this week again. When the body's done turning, the arms and hands are done swinging. It's the same reason why my dad loved me holding this golf club so much. It has weight to it. So I used to just go up there when I complete my turn, boom. Boom. So focus on that, buddy. You know, I always tell these young players, and I tell every player this, a goal is to always eliminate the amount the arms outswing the body to the top. And a goal of your downswing and transition is to eliminate the amount your body gets out in front of your arms and hands. Always keeping the together and together feeling, okay? Everything changing directions together. It's like that, right? Guides it far for his size, doesn't he? Yeah.
Here we are at the beautiful Fairmont Grand Del Mar and the Grand Golf Club, the home of Porzak Golf, where golf is not just considered a sport, it's a lifestyle.
The Porzak Golf membership will take you on an immersive journey that blends performance, lifestyle, and the spirit of the game like never before.
This membership is geared towards helping you play the best golf of your life and enjoy the greatest game ever played. For more information on what your membership includes, click the link below.